I am not ready to see how badly I failed my reading goals from last year, but here we are. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly, and welcome to Freshly Read Books. So, sitting at my desk today, which is slightly different than like the 3 feet over there where I typically film my videos, because we are going to be talking about stats and goals today. So I figure we'll start with goals from last year to see what I wanted to do, stats from the past year to see how I actually did, and then we'll look at my goals for 2022, both for reading and for YouTube. I honestly can't believe I've been doing YouTube long enough to be able to react to a goals video that I made, and while I'm excited that I've been here for that long, I'm also very nervous to watch myself back. I've changed a lot of things in the past year. One of those things is that I'm a lot more consistent than I used to be. So if you'd like, you can subscribe because I post new videos every Wednesday. All right, enough prolonging. I'm going to open up my goals video from last year. Ooh. I didn't realize quite how big goal setting was going to be in BookTube, but I'm really excited about it because I set goals all the time. Do I always fulfill them? No. I can't wait to be reacting to this later. Hey, Sarah from the future. I hope I did you proud. I guess I hope you did me proud. I forgot that I did that. I feel a little called out, and I'm really worried I didn't do her proud. So the first one is the easiest for me because this was a goal that I actually started in 2020. I'm really happy with it and I want to continue to do it. Around April of last year, I started the goal where I would not physically own a book for more than a year without reading it. Okay. I gave up on that goal. I forgot that I like put that in my goals video. Like I knew that that was a thing that I was trying to do because I was like consciously trying to do it for almost a full year before I filmed this video. However, like as a whole, I definitely gave up on that goal. It was stressing me out way too much. Sorry, past me. That did not last very long after this video. Okay, as far as my goal for how many books I want to read this year, my goal is 100. I still can't believe I made it to 92 this year, so 100 seems somehow unattainable, but it's not. Like, I was 8 books short and I didn't read a single book in December, so I definitely can do it. I didn't do it, but I'll talk about that when I get to the stats. As far as the 2 book series that kind of live on this channel almost. One is the Around the World book series. I say almost because I still haven't made a single video for this series. Okay, so these are the goals that I remembered from this video, which is why I didn't want to, I knew how badly I did on this goal, and also they were goals that I just decided I didn't want to do anymore. The first one is like the reading around the world thing that I was doing. I wanted to do a series where I would read a couple books from a country and I would make food from that country. I would drink something from that country. So I did do the first one. I did Chile. That video is still up, but that took me so long to do, and I think it was putting too much pressure on myself, so I never did a second video, and I'm okay with that. I think I'd still like to do something that's kind of like a read around the world thing, but not an official goal. So I think that I'm going to keep that going, but it's more of just like tracking it and seeing how I do with that using my little scratch off map instead of making it like some goal for me to get to a certain amount. For this, I was hoping to do 6 of those videos this past year, and I only did that one for Chile. And then the other one that I was referring to, because this was my goal 3 and 4, was to work more towards my 100 books bucket list scratch off poster. I still have the poster and I'm still working my way through it. I just don't plan on doing a video per book like I initially did. And then another goal I have for myself is to read the backlogs of 3 authors so that I'll have read all of their books and to make a video on those. Okay, this one I'm kind of still doing. So this goal was to read all of the books that certain authors had written and film a video about those. I've done a Frederick Bachman video and a follow-up to that video when he published another book, which talked about just all of the books that he's written. And I wanted to continue to do that for other authors because I find it very interesting to watch like the writing progression of an author. So I did do one of the 3 authors that I'm talking about here, which was Ruth Ware. And as far as the other 2, I do still plan on doing it. I'm not setting a goal for which ones I want to get done this year. Maybe if I were to set a goal, it would be Riley Sager. I'd love to get Riley Sager done this year. And last, but certainly not least, I'm doing the International Booker 2021 as well as Booker 2021. I think at this time I will commit to the shortlist for both. I like hearing past me talk about Booker because I got even more into Booker. So I did the shortlist for International Booker, but also I just have so much fun doing it. It's so much fun to do like the entire list too. So Booker 2021, I did read the entire list and I reviewed them, and I did it before the winner was announced, which was the first time I had ever done that. So I've been getting progressively better, and I did even better than the goal that I set for myself in this video, which is the first time I can say that. I think this is the only goal that I really hit in this video. Anyways, those are my goals. So let's talk stats. So I am pulling my stats from Storygraph because obviously. So first of all, my 2021 reading goal, originally my goal was 100 books, but in November-ish, I had to really think to myself, like, there's no way that's not gonna happen, but maybe by some miracle, I can make it to 93. I didn't, I ended up reading 86 books, but I still think I put in a valiant effort. So I feel like my moods should surprise no one. That Reflective is at the top with 47. I feel like this is a lot of times like the description that is used for Booker books in general, like literary fiction in general. A lot of times Reflective is kind of thrown on there. But then we've also got emotional, dark. That makes sense for, I read a lot of thrillers this year. I feel like challenging books. I feel like I read a lot of challenging books this year. My least moods was funny. I only read 4 funny books, which makes sense. Lighthearted. And hopeful, good. Yeah, throw those at the bottom. I didn't need any of that this year. As far as pace, mostly medium-paced books, which I feel like makes sense. I assume most people have mostly medium-paced books with a slightly more slow-paced books than fast. That makes sense. I feel like a lot of these are probably Booker books as well. And then for page number, basically like all of them are in that medium zone of 300 to 500 pages. And then not that many that were over 500. Which books were these? So my over 500 was The Savage Detectives, Great Circle, The Fifth Season, Dune, Gone Girl, and The Shining. I really enjoyed most of these books too, so I feel like maybe I should read more big books this year. Is that foreshadowing? Yes, it is. I'll just tell you it is. And then nonfiction versus fiction. I read 9% nonfiction, just 7 nonfiction books, and 91% fiction, which I think makes sense. All right, genres, literally no surprise here. My highest genre was literary fiction, which obviously, like, it's the Booker books. And like, it's not even just reading Booker books, but it's like, once you get into it, then you're talking to a lot of people that really love literary fiction, and they're suggesting other books to you. And so all of a sudden, like, your whole TBR is just literary fiction. Then thrillers and historical coming in second. That's surprising. My historical fiction has gone up so much since I started reading more literary fiction, because so much literary fiction is historical fiction. In the past, I've like never read it. I don't tend to like it, but I'm starting to learn that there can be a lot of different types of books that are still within the historical fiction umbrella, and to just paint it as like, I don't read historical fiction is probably not fair. Format, this doesn't really apply to me because I don't update that within Storygraph. I'm being more intentional this year as I put in my books, but this year I did not pay any attention. Most read authors, Ruth Ware, makes a lot of sense. I already talked about doing a video that was all of her books. So I like how Rachel Kazuo Ishiguro and Frances Bufford are all on here, which was all from one video, which was reading a second book by an author that was longlisted for the Booker 2021 prize. So I'd obviously already read one for Booker, and then I read another one of theirs for that video. Number of books and pages. Oh, this is inaccurate. I was like, what happened August through October? I went through a period where I was really bad at updating Storygraph. And then I went back and I did update it. I think I might have guessed for some of them, and then the others I was just like, I read it in 2021. All right, so those are the stats that I have this year, and I think with that we're ready to talk about my 2022 goals. So I'll start with what I ended with in my goals video from last year, just because I feel like this one's kind of a given. So this year I do plan on reading the entire long list for both International Booker and also for like regular Booker. Honestly, cannot wait until it gets started again. I think March is when they're planning on announcing the long list for International Booker. Yeah! And then as far as books that I want to read for the year, I'd love to hit 100, but worst case, maybe one more book than I read last year, which would be 87. Then I also have the goal to read big books this year, which wasn't going to be a goal, but then I realized there was a lot of big books that I wanted to read this year, and now I'm like, let's just make it a goal. And then I can feel like doubly proud of myself. The current big book is The Books of Jacob, which actually goes into International Booker. If this is on the long list, then trying to preemptively read it because Kieran told me to, basically. I blame you, Kieran. At least until it gets like put on the long list, if it does, in which case I'll be thanking you. But I think I'll do a separate video that's all of the big books that I'm hoping to read this year. I'm also doing a little reading challenge that was put together by Time for Reading, which is a Bookstagram channel that I follow and love. So if you want to join in on the challenge as well, I will link her Instagram in the description. And then it's also a Storygraph challenge, so I'll link that as well. Next one is to lower my TBR, and that is my entire owned TBR. So anything that I own physically as an audiobook or as an ebook. Right now, that is 140 books. Ugh, that pains me to say. So yeah, I'm still trying to lower that number. I'm just not trying to make sure that I don't keep any books for longer than a year. I mean, I'd love to, but like, that's not super realistic for me right now. Another goal as far as books go is to just spend less on books. The tough thing is I didn't really track how much I spent last year in reading, so it's hard to say. But this year I've been tracking for every book I read, I've been putting like the price of the book. And then at the end of the year, I'm gonna see like how much on average I spent on every book. That should be my stats video for the end of this year. So I guess really the goal is to just track my spending, and then I can make sure that I like am not going too crazy. And then I've just got like 3 little YouTube specific goals. And one of those is to just like have more fun with YouTube in general, with my videos, not take myself so seriously. I'm also hoping to get better at editing. I think that I have been slowly getting there, especially after watching that video from a year ago. I think that I've definitely progressed, but I want to continue to learn to get better, and I've started to kind of enjoy it, dare I say. And then lastly, I'm hoping to start a Patreon this year. Technically, I've already started it, but I haven't really like announced it or put the link anywhere or anything along those lines because I'm in the stage where I just want to make sure that I can keep up with the commitments that I'm setting forth on the different tiers and everything. So it's just making sure, like, can I upload this many videos? Can I do these things? Is this realistic for me in my life? I don't want to promise anything that I can't deliver. It does technically exist. It is out there. You can find it, but I'm still just making sure that I can fulfill the promises that I am putting into the tier list. And I'm also editing together a little trailer for it to explain the tier list that'll be up there. That gives like a good introduction to what it is, what I'm hoping to do there. Hopefully at some point I will be making a nice little announcement video or making the announcement as a part of another video or something to talk more about it and officially invite people to support me there once I can make sure that I am going to be able to give them all that I say that I will. Anyways, I think that that is going to do it for this video. So let me know what goals that you have set for yourself this year. Also, if you want to make me feel better, tell me a goal last year that you were hoping to do that you just decided like during the year, like, no, thank you. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and you want to. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.